What we do here is go back.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Content Cop. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the man, the myth, the used car salesman himself, Idubbbz, also known as iCucks, Simp. I feel like this Content Cop has been a long time coming, especially given his and his wife's recent actions, the blatant hypocrisy. I'm looking forward to today. We get to bully the bully. But before we begin eviscerating this simp, I think it's important to look back at Idubbbz at what he used to stand for, why we liked him. The old Idubbbz was edgy, he was raw, his content was enjoyable, he criticised and made fun of people that really deserved it, like Leafy is here, like Rice Gum, and he made some good critical points in those videos. He was funny, he was very honest with his fans, his fan base loved him for it, he didn't lean too far to one political ideology, he was very neutral when it came to that sort of stuff. He was a very big fan of freedom of speech, and he really did not give a single fuck about what you thought of him. And he enjoyed people making fun of him back in the day. That was the point. However, all these attributes are nowhere to be found in this new version of Idubbbz. This new version of Idubbbz is very hypocritical, he's hypersensitive to criticism, he's very prideful and is very egotistical. He lets his emotions get in the way, both him and his OnlyFans girlfriend do this. His girlfriend likes to manipulate and control Ian a lot. Ian likes to view himself as a puppet master, as we'll get onto in the video as well. He's very politically motivated now, and he really cares about what people say about him and his OnlyFans girlfriend, which, coming from a guy who used to make fun of other people for doing this similar type of thing, is just really fucking hilarious and dumb.
Are you serious?
First thing I'd like to talk about is his 2018's response video to people making fun of his girlfriend and him for starting an OnlyFans account.
A good amount of people are just doing the reasonable thing and just making jokes and laughing about it. But there's a whole nother group of people who feel personally devastated and betrayed. You lied to us. First of all, I'm not your fucking dad. Like, if you don't want to look up to me anymore, that's fine. I don't want you to look up to me.
When you're speaking to a large group of people, and there's some dudes in the back shouting out their opinions, like, I fucking hate thoughts, I hate whores, women who sell their body online fucking suck, that's the worst. Instead of ignoring that and just moving on with my lecture, it might be a better idea to point those people out and say, yeah, I actually don't agree with that shitty opinion.
This response video is definitely one of the worst response videos I've ever fucking seen. You know, it's kind of funny coming from Idubbbz, you know, the same guy who made fun of Leafy for when Leafy was complaining about people making fun of his chin and disabling comments on his YouTube channel. You know, you think Idubbbz would be able to understand the concept of going with the joke, okay? But instead of doing that, and instead of just laughing it off with his fans and, you know, having a good time with them, he decides to let his emotions get in the way. His ego gets the better of him, and he decides to target one member of his fan base and makes fun of him, belittles him, and also says this statement.
My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account, which is a website where you can upload amateur porn. Anything from double penetration all the way over to lewd cosplay, and everything in between. And I think all of it is cool.
Keep an eye on this statement. We're going to come back to it later on in this video. The biggest problem I have with this response video is not the fact that he is defending his girlfriend's decision to start an OnlyFans. There's no issue with that. My issue with how Idubbbz responded to this is that he let his emotions get the better of him. You can really tell that he's not at all comfortable with this, especially given his recent actions at Creator Clash 2 with Froggy Fresh. So for somebody that used to make fun of other people's appearance and criticize other people's dumb and blatantly emotional actions and responses to his videos, he doesn't seem to be that good at taking criticism and laughing off jokes himself, does he?
This is torture. You're torturing me and everyone else watching. Wait.
Guys, didn't you know? Idubbbz has matured. He's left behind his old edgy style of humor and has become a much better person. You know, he thinks a lot more clearer now.
As we've aged, we've realized that you know, you want to conduct yourself differently.
Well, when you start interacting
caring
with the actual world and you're not in your bedroom creating like sitting in your bedroom for 19 hours creating a hit piece on someone, basically, and you actually interact with human beings, you sort of realize like that isn't really real life.
Well, if this is the new style of content that is meant to be better than his old style of content, then count me the fuck out.
You must pop the Infinity Stones out of Thanos so he can face the Avengers with clear skin. It pops.
Cool.
It oozes.
Gross.
It goops.
Whoa.
I mean, what is this? Like, who is this made for? What, his old fans? Who, on a recent interview, has said that he hates them.
There were quite a few human beings that I interacted with.
In person?
Yeah, in person, that just sucked. They just sucked because I attracted a lot of people who suck.
Ah, yeah, you know, my old fans, you know, the people that got me to the position where I am now. Yeah, you know those old fans that got me millions of views and gave me millions of subscribers? Yeah, you know those people? Fuck those people. You know why? Because they made fun of me and my OnlyFans girlfriend for something. Even though I made fun of people in the past, and it was okay when I did it because I was funny. I was edgy. You know, I was very big brain when I did this and that. But the second that my fans and other people start criticizing me and my girlfriend, that's a step over the line. That's too far. That is uncalled for. It's not nice. God, this dude is fucking hell. Fucking hell, Idubbbz. Something else that he criticises not only his old fans for, but himself, weirdly enough, for doing, is taking the mick out of people who blatantly deserved it. Take this comment about what he thinks about the Fine Bros now.
After the Fine Brothers situation with, them making React something, I sort of jumped on the bandwagon, and I regret doing it because I didn't really have much to contribute to the conversation. I don't know, it was in pretty bad taste. It was just like, I was saying either the same shit that anyone else was saying or just generally making fun of them.
Yeah, the Fine Bros, those fine chaps that back in the day tried to monetize and copyright the word reaction, and then when they were called out for it by the commentary community, they fucking gave an awful response video. Yeah, those guys. It's a little awkward when I meet those guys, because it's just a goof and gaff,
The Tana thing was my...
Oh, that was so long ago.
Was my idea. Yeah, that drive and everything. And now I think back to it, I'm like, I can't believe we literally harassed an 18-year-old child.
Tana Mojo, that one girl who was super fucking hypocritical in that and who couldn't react or respond well at all to criticism. Yeah, her blatant use of using, racial slurs and that, and having her own hypocrisy exposed by Idubbbz. I feel bad for doing that because she was just an innocent little girl who didn't know right from wrong, and I feel so bad for doing this and that. And me and my girlfriend, we definitely weren't excited to do this. I mean, it's not like we drove for 8 to 9 hours on the road to a convention just to meet her to prove a point.
Where are you, mate? Oi! Oi, you got a licence for that bunch, yeah?
Oi, excuse me, sir. You seen this fella?
Yeah, he's just down there in Sim Tunnel.
Sim Tunnel?
Yeah.
Right, cheers.
I'm gonna book these two delinquents. Mark it down as resisting. All right, fellas, put your hands behind your back.
Something else that I really love about this new version of Idubbbz is his ability to react emotionally for when he's not in charge of a situation. Take the Sam Hyde documentary for an instance, where Idubbbz went down to Rhode Island and decided to interview infamous comedian and edgelord Sam Hyde. Sam Hyde is somebody who is known for being a little bit of a trolling edgelord. He is somebody who used to have a show on Adult Swim, $1 Million Extreme, and he's also somebody that is very well known for not going along with the social norms. Given Idubbbz' old statements like this statement...
So when you, going back to the PC thing.
I envy comics who are able to get away with saying fucking anything.
Yes.
Because, like, I don't really care. It's in a way, it's kind of a skill. It's like to be able to frame your shit.
It's a tightrope walk.
Yeah, and I feel like it's more interesting.
And the fact that he was so willing to make fun of himself and others and believed in freedom of speech, you'd think that he'd be on board with a lot of Sam's ideologies, but that's fucking not the case in this documentary.
To the viewers, when you say something like that, if you're serious, you say 100% serious.
Baby Sammy's serious! So now you know, so you don't have to guess. So you need a picture book guide to tell you when someone's in a mood. Here's an angry face. Here's happy.
Something I want to talk about in this interview phase is something that Idubbbz brings up initially to Sam Hyde, which is this.
Do you remember our first interaction?
No.
You don't?
No.
What do you think?
Did I snub you or slight you or something?
You remember making a pony game?
Yes.
There were some creators at the time who made videos about this fake pony project.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were you one of them?
I was one of them. You copyright claimed the video.
Really?
Yes.
The email was, I will release the copyright claim on your video if you can send me a video of yourself squatting 200 pounds below parallel. Why don't you do that? You'd be so much stronger now if you'd done it. Yeah.
Did I create an enemy with that?
I mean, for a period.
Damn.
I didn't like you.
I'm sorry.
You were an asshole.
I'm sorry, buddy. That's no good.
Yeah. Why'd you do that to me?
I don't know. I can't even remember what your video was. So maybe I was pissed off or something. I don't know.
You know, for somebody who is meant to be coming in at a neutral standpoint and trying to get something out of this interview, it's very strange that you bring this up as the first thing, creating immediate static, as Sam Hyde says. It also just looks pretty bad for optics to bring something up that happened 6 or 7 years ago that you very clearly still have some sort of emotional tie to and still feel almost vindicated that he did this. And it's even funnier that Sam Hyde just laughs it off and doesn't even remember doing this. Another interesting thing that Ian tries to bring up in this documentary is his view of meta-humor, irony, post-irony. He gives a really dumb and ridiculous take on it.
Irony is used effectively by people whose intention is to blur the line between sincerity and joke. To say, I was just joking, is a legitimate way to exonerate yourself in moments of actual miscommunication. But it's also a perfect fallback option for when you receive criticism for a point that you are genuinely trying to make.
But then in that same documentary, he also, when he's interviewing Sam Hyde, points to the post-irony statement, suggesting that Ian is trying to give Sam a taste of his own medicine when it comes to not being clear about your intentions. The funny thing is, Idubbbz himself states that he's not a big fan of doing this, that he doesn't really agree with this style of humour, of irony. So why is he trying to do it to Sam? Is it to prove a point? Is it to get one up on Sam Hyde? I do find it hilarious that it took Sam Hyde releasing his version of Ian's documentary for Ian to release his own documentary on him. It's almost like Ian didn't want to release it because he got clowned on.
At the tail end of the documentary, when he wasn't getting the footage that he wanted, he was really upset, like an angry, child. Like he was pouting. He was fucking pouting in his car and shit. And he said, not to me, but to somebody on the crew, he said, usually I'm the puppet master in these situations.
What?
Yeah. He said 100% on God, he said that.
And it's definitely not due to Idubbbz not being able to manipulate or control Sam into giving him some juicy bits of information that will look good on the documentary to boost Ian's views. It definitely couldn't be for that. No. Idubbbz and Sam's beef would further continue when Idubbbz announced that he was going to be doing a boxing event called Creator Clash. Sam Hyde decided to train one of the fighters known as Harley Mornstein. When Sam Hyde's crew went to the event, they were initially barred from going in, and Ian also stated that Sam Hyde was not allowed to go to the event.
He knew about the tickets before we pulled up. He was going to ban all of Sam's tickets, he was going to refund them, and none of us could come in. And it was going to be a surprise for when we first got there.
Yeah, he was going to wait until I was in Tampa to spring that news on me.
That was his gift to you? That was his nice surprise gift?
Yeah, haha, made you come to Tampa.
Who's the puppet master now, Samuel?
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
It would have been him, gee whiz.
This is kind of interesting, given the fact that all the proceeds from this boxing event were meant to go to charity, and Sam Hyde had bought, I believe, $11,000 worth of tickets for him and his crew. So it's a little strange that Idubbbz, again, lets his emotions and ego get in the way and refuses kids $11,000 because he doesn't like Sam.
You a stupid hoe. You a stupid hoe. You a stupid hoe. You a stupid hoe.
Something else I want to briefly go over is Idubbbz's girlfriend, Anisa. There's been a lot of speculation online about Anisa and her influence over Idubbbz. What I do want to go over are some of the things that she is very well known for. In 2017, when she first met Idubbbz, she was in a relationship with a 17-year-old guy. Keep in mind, she was 21 years old at the time. Idubbbz decided not to go to an event with his fans and decided to stay with Anisa. The day afterwards, when they stayed at this hotel, they were now in a relationship. Anisa has made multiple stupid statements such as this.
As terrible as the Holocaust was, they found a couple of really groundbreaking discoveries.
It's a well-known fact that her mother moderates her Twitch chat. Anisa has had problems and caused drama with other YouTubers such as Zoe Berger back in the day and like Chris Raygun. There are leaked DMs suggesting that she was going to break up with Idubbbz, even though all Idubbbz was doing was filming the Content Cop video on Rice Gum. She's made recent statements about her boyfriend's appearance, belittling him and insulting his clothing, calling it white trash.
So for Ian, for example, like, I would say trashy or trailer park would be one. Like, untucked or like a bit unorganized and like simple, right?
White.
Well, that goes with trailer trash.
Okay.
And you know it's bad when Anisa's own family contacts Sam Hyde to tell him how bad she is of a person.
Anissa's family hits me up. Her family, I've been hit up by her family members talking about her.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does that say about you and how up you are? They said that you used your Alzheimer's father as a dramatic prop. That's what Creator Clash 1 was for. It was for Alzheimer's or something like that. One of your own family members hit me up and said you don't care that much about your father and that your father, you have like a strained relationship or something.
This feels a lot like hell.
So, for Creator Clash 2, what did Ian and Anisa decide to do to one-up the controversy of last year's? Well, it all involves a fighter known as Froggy Fresh. So, Froggy Fresh was announced on the card, and he'd been training for 9 months at this point. Then he decides to do two things. One, he decides to make a call-out video for Chris Raygun, who he's going to be fighting, and says this.
There seems to be substantial evidence that Chris Raygun is now on Adderall. Well, young man, amphetamines couldn't save Hitler, and they can't save you either. On April 15th, if I don't hurt you beyond what anybody could have imagined, I will be so disappointed in myself that I will subscribe to Anisa's OnlyFans.
2. He decides to spend a day or two training with Sam Hyde because Harley trained with Sam Hyde the year prior and he won his fight, so why not? Then it just goes all downhill from there. Froggy claims this.
Guess what, Internet? I got even more news for you. Something I didn't even say about last night. Anissa's mom also made another tweet at me. She tweeted, "Classic case of brain damage. Better have that looked at along with your obviously shrunken balls." First off, when I did hit my head on them monkey bars, yeah, I did get hurt a little bit. But when I got the scan done, they said I was still smart. Second off, as far as with that second thing that you said about my privates, you have got to clean up your language. That is not good to be talking like that.
Then what do Ian and Anisa do with this new terrible information, this horrible thing that Froggy Fresh just made a joke about Anisa's OnlyFans? You know, Anisa and Idubbbz's business that they are meant to be both happy with and that they are not emotionally, critical of. This happens. So Ian and Anisa decide to kick Froggy Fresh from the event and remove him from the fighting card. They also claim that they are going to potentially sue him for legal defamation. It's strange how fighters on the card like Holly Mornstein and other fighters come out and defend this decision, even though it's blatantly obvious that this is super bad for optics. There's also been some recent information that's come out from this YouTuber who has suggested that each of the fighters are getting their own proceeds from the event that aren't going to the charities.
Idubbbz showed a tweet where Creator Clash announced that they raised $1.3 million for charity. And with the total proceeds of Creator Clash 1 being at least $3 million, that means that the leftover amount that they paid for operational costs and the fighters is approximately $1.7 million. And again, this number is on the lower side, as we know over 100,000 pay-per-views were sold, we just don't know the exact amount, so this is the lowball minimum estimate. Now obviously that amount is also going to operational costs, not just the fighters, but I can't imagine those extra operational costs being that much, considering that Creator Clash 1 was held in Yulang Center, which had a capacity of 10k, and a venue like that would probably cost maybe 20k to rent out for the night, potentially more, even if we round it all the way up to 100k in operational costs, and then stack up another 100k for hiring the commentators or the announcer or security or anything else other than the fighters. That still leaves 1.5 million to split amongst the 24 fighters, meaning that each fighter is personally making within the ballpark of $60,000 that is just for them and not going to charity at all, which sounds quite a bit different than the image Idubbbz showed in his latest Creator Clash 2 video, where he tries to brag that his event is better than other influencer boxing events because all of the profit goes to charity.
You know, all this is just for charities, except for the fact that each of the fighters is getting roughly 60 to 65 grand in their account. Yeah, you know, but it's all for charity, right? We're doing this because we want to help the charities. Never mind the fact that we kicked Froggy Fresh out for unfair reasons. Never mind the fact that Anisa stated that instead of addressing this head on and confronting this drama, she's deciding to drink her sorrows away. Never mind the fact that it was Anisa's own mother initially that had this beef with Froggy Fresh. And again, keep in mind this statement that Idubbbz says in 2018.
My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account, and I think all of it is cool.
It's abundantly fucking clear that you have an emotional reaction when somebody brings this up as a joke, Idubbbz. I guarantee you with 100% accuracy that if Anisa and Idubbbz were allowed to continue with their edgy style of content, and that they weren't going to be demonetized for it or cancelled, they absolutely would 100% still be doing it. There's no doubt about it. The only reason they've changed is because the landscape changed. They didn't care about the fans. They certainly don't care about charities by the sounds of it. They only care about their own egos and pushing their own agendas. You know, even when Gideon offered to pay $100,000, I think, if Froggy Fresh was reinstated, and other YouTubers and Twitch streamers have also said that they would donate a lot of money if Froggy Fresh was allowed back on the card. No. Because Ian and Anisa's pride and ego can't take it. They just can't take it anymore.
Would you guys like to hear the juiciest bit of hypocrisy? You make fun of the fact that his name's Wasabi. You make fun of the fact that he made a bunch of content for kids. You make fun of him for having fallen off. Oh man, he fell off big time.
If I don't hurt you beyond what anybody could have imagined, I will be so disappointed in myself that I will subscribe to Anisa's OnlyFans.
Oops. Idubbbz, what's wrong? No.
Idubbbz, come on, man! You were meant to be the saviour. You were meant to criticise people, not bloody join them. That's how you want to play it. Alright, Ian. Let's dance.
I hope this video has been a good example of why this new version of Idubbbz is awful. He has done a lot of actions that have shown just how far he's fallen, and especially how much his girlfriend has influenced him. But there's also still some hope in him. I do believe that there is a possibility that he can change. Look, Ian, if you ever watch this, I know it comes across as making fun of you, which it is. I know it comes across as being very critical of you, which it is meant to be. But it's all in good favour, because I want you to change. I do think there's still some good in you, man. You did produce some really good content back in the days, and even some of your new stuff, like your documentaries. They are still very good. You've got a knack for filmmaking, my friend. Stick with that, because your channel does feel directionless at the moment. Stick with that, man, because I believe in you. I think you can change if you want to change. Not Anisa, though. Just keep Anisa out. I know we've made jokes about it before, but look, just get Anisa out. You've seen what her actions have led to, what her and her mother's actions have led to. Get her out, okay? We still believe in you, man. Even though you might despise your old fans, some of us are still here for you, man. And Anisa, just remember, it's not your OnlyFans business. It's our OnlyFans business now.